Hi folks, this is Van with Thumper Jigs, and today I'm gonna show you the way that I tie or we tie our trolling rigs up. And you know, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. There's a lot of different things you can utilize, but this is what works for us. And there's no right or wrong way. There's no one jig or one color that's going to dominate all year. You all know, if you're a jig fisherman, you all know that it takes different weights and different colors depending on conditions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with a stretch of about, probably 40 inches of string. Cut that off. And we're going to put this egg sinker on there. And we're going to push through. Then we're going to come back through. And we're going to tie this in a Palomar knot. And so now we got it back through. So now we're going to make it just about equal lengths. One's going to be a little longer, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So now we got it tied, pull it through, and then cinch that knot. If you look, the knot is right on top of the sinker, and both these lines are in the top of the sinker. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take the longer one now and push it back through that hole. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. There we go. So that this sinker rides straight in line. Now you'd think, well, that's a big deal. Well, if that sinker is hobbled or dog legs off the line, and you stick a catfish on the bottom hook and he swings in a circle like they always do, that sinker is going to wrap into your line. It's going to kink your line up, and I don't know if it's going to weaken it, but it's not going to make it very happy because it's just going to look like hell. So now we're going to go. This is our tippet. We make these here at Thumper Jigs. The same. If you look, it's the same hook we use for our jig, but this is just a jig hook, and we just tie it up with the color, and there's no weight on it. Now, right now it's June. The water temperature's low to mid 80s, and it's very important that you use as light as stuff as you can when it comes to tippets or jigs, because that minnow's got to carry it, and there's not a lot of oxygen in that water. So you got to keep in mind, if you want to keep your minnows alive, they're going to fight this line the whole time. So you're going to have to put them on something light that they can carry. All right, so we're going to tie this first one in a loop knot. We're going to pull this up just so it starts to pick up our sinker right there. All right, and we're going to take it and loop it around. And I go through 3 times. I've seen guys do it twice, and whatever you like, but 3 works for me. Once, twice, and finally the 3rd time. And then I like to wet my fingers and wet this so I don't burn that line. Now, I like about a 2-inch leader. That's a little long, but it's okay. But if you troll Lake of the Ozarks, you can get by with a 3-way, and you can make that leader 10 inches a foot long. But if you troll up here at Mark Twain Lake through all this timber, if you make that leader that long, I don't believe it's going to work for you. You're going to have issues. All right, so now we're going to tie our swivel on, and we're going to use a Palomar knot once again. And just a real simple knot. Now we just use, for this particular section, we use a simple barrel swivel. And yeah, a simple barrel swivel. Reach back through there, pull it down tight. Cut this off. I don't like to leave a lot of tail on mine, that's just me. All right, so now we're 2/3 of the way through it. You got your sinker, you got your barrel swivel, and you got your tippet. Now we're going to put a jig on it. The jig we're using now is a 1/24 ounce, because like I said, you want that minnow to live. That's a little bit too much fiber on there, so I'm going to trim it and just take my fingers, put over it till I feel the bend of that hook on the bottom of my fingers. Then I'm going to trim that just like that. So keep in mind, we're going to tip this with minnows. So we don't want to bait too big. We don't want them fish flashing up and just grabbing hold of the jig. Once again, one more Palomar knot, like this. This is just the easiest way that I've found to do it. Pull that tight. Probably ought to wet that a little bit. But if you always want to pull by the dead end, because if you pull by this end, it can get hot and crinkle that and probably would weaken that. So here is the rig. This is it complete. That's the way it looks right there. That's the way it hangs. Straighten that out. There you go. And that's it. And the reason now, I mean, like I said, it's hot out there. The water temperature is about 80 degrees. Not a lot of oxygen in it, and probably there's a tremendous shad hatch up on the water. So I think the more hooks you get in the water, the better off you're going to be. But trolling on Mark Twain Lake and in any timber-filled lake is an art within itself. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can get by with on Lake the Ozarks or lakes that are void of a lot of timber that you just can't get by with here on Mark Twain Lake. You're going to push half a dozen hooks, and keep in mind every time you pick up and move, you're going to throw away half a dozen minutes if you move any distance. So just keep all that in mind. It's kind of gone by the wayside now with the popularity of live scoping, but there's still quite a few guys that do it. And we just got an order tip that's done for a guy the other day. So it's still a popular thing, and it's still a productive way to catch fish. I fished about 3 weeks ago, put the pole down at 12:38 and had 15 decent fish in the boat. So keep that in mind, and I hope this helps. Any questions, why just get a hold of Jason there and he'll convey them to me, and we'll get it figured out. Thank you.